Or perhaps, and I have to talk about it because it's come to my mind, I could make another journey, one that doesn't involve my body. That there's enough stuff here, if I chose to take it, that I would go to sleep and not wake up. I would just go to sleep and then not wake up. There's enough morphine and opiates here, I'm sure, if I took enough of them. It's not like taking paracetamol where it's so damaging to the body. You just go to sleep and not wake up. It's the way Dr. Shipman euthanized his patients. Overdose of morphine. They just went to sleep and they didn't wake up. And just let go that way. It's an option. I've had an experience where I thought, I'm going now. I have taken substances that I, at the time, believed would help me transition. They probably never would, but I believed they would at the time because they were going to alter my consciousness, and I felt that that would be where I would leave from. I have had thoughts, feelings that I might go soon myself. Physically dealing with this physical body, it's just a burden. It's a burden on me. It's a burden on other people. I have to maintain it. I have to feed it. I have to clean it. When I say that I accept the words of others, that there is more than this, and that it is my real home, my true home, that this is only an illusion, a dream. So why shouldn't I choose to wake up in there? Why shouldn't I choose to say I've had enough of this? I'd much prefer something else, but not moving from one place to another, moving from one state, one realm from another. Letting go of the physical. I must have chosen it for a reason. It's supposedly... I wouldn't have chosen it if it wasn't something that was vitally, I really wanted to experience. There's all this negative energy around suicide. You're not allowed to decide you've had enough. Many people do. They don't. Maybe some regret it and it's too late, but many people do. Do I have the guts to decide something like that? Just to say, okay, I'm going to just take this stuff. I've made loads of recordings, so it's not like I haven't left a note. Take it and end this. That they get the rest of her time without my burden, and maybe I get to experience it, I don't know, as a ghost. I don't know. I don't know what happens. It's like I'm not supposed to. It's nothing to do with me. When it's over, it'll be over, and it's nothing to do with me. I'm saying, well, some people, other people decide things like that. They make a choice. They feel they have a right. Even in a legal sense, those who have made journeys to Switzerland and paid for, and with their family around them, and taking a substance and gone to sleep, and that's the end, they felt like they had a right. They were making a decision based on something that they had, that it felt absolutely right for them to make that decision. They have absolute right to make it. Why don't I? Well, I do. And yet somehow it's not just something one can easily make. I've made my tincture of cannabis, and I've taken quite a strong dose. There's nothing to stop me taking double that amount or triple that amount. a quantity that would really take me beyond what I don't know what it would do. I have no idea. And maybe that would be enough. I wouldn't have to actually consume the sort of medications. I don't know. The fact that I even think like that means I'm not likely to do it. That I actually am weighing up. There's too much thought, too much overthinking. I don't have to be in my darkest bottom. I can't go on. Can't I be in a... Can I just stop this now? Can this be over? Can I just come home? Can I go somewhere where I actually really feel home? And that's where I am, and there's nowhere else I would like to be, nowhere else I would rather be. I am a home. So I think about that. It's a thought. I could never... I have toyed, looked at Robin Williams and what he chose to do. And I have imagined that that's definitely something that's relatively easily doable without much thought. But it still feels violent. It still feels... I don't like the idea. I can't imagine those people who jump off bridges or fall in front of trains. Can't imagine where they are, how they feel. People who put guns and... So I'm talking about a load of natural, but based on natural, mostly natural substances that take away the pain. And if you take enough of them, they just take away the pain forever. No more pain. I don't know what that means. There is a feeling surrounding it that it's not an option for me, even though I could choose it. I have the right, the ability, you could say. If I actually attempted to put something, it would be very difficult. I know, if I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. I can't leave. Again, I have to play it out. It has to happen in its own way. I can't suddenly 3/4 of the way or 7/8 of the way along just decide don't want to do it anymore. Got to finish it. There's more to come. I'll just go when I just go, I suppose. I don't know what it will be like. I know that Lou went through it. I don't know what that experience would have been like for him, and as far as I'm concerned, he's sort of still around, and Heather definitely believes that and feels she's been contacted by him, and he's spoken through friends of hers who are sensitive. I don't know. I would have to have had that experience. I'd have to have gone to see her before I left and see if I could have recognised Lou, see if I could have seen something that would have made it real for me. But I dare say it is. I just don't have that, don't see him. I'm not aware of that. I don't even know who he is anymore. I don't know if I ever really knew him. I only knew what I was able to perceive of him. I know that I can go on. I feel that. It's not that I don't feel I can go on. I know I can go on. And the pill thing is always an option. It still always remains an option. I don't know if I could ever decide that that's it. I'm not willing to consider the possibility that there is something coming that would be wonderful and amazing, that I would absolutely want to experience and wouldn't want to take myself out, know it, then discover that that didn't happen and it should have. You know, all that nonsense. I don't know, even if I can think that way. I don't know. I don't know. I suppose it would be different if somebody said to me, okay, you've got 6 months to live, and the last 2 are going to be very, very painful, and you're going to just be shitting, and or you can take a handful of these pills and just, you know, drift away in just a lovely, gentle, peaceful sleep, and then just go. But I don't have that. I don't know how long I have left. I get twinges in my chest sometimes that make me think maybe not that long, but who knows? And then it's out of my hands. Then it's not, it's fate. Maybe I participate by not exercising enough or not eating the right foods. Maybe I'm passively suiciding anyway. Maybe I'm just a coward. I can't take them pills because there's no going back once you swallow him. It's like I know that what would you do if you take a load of pills? Well, I suppose you could try to vomit and so on, but still, I'm full of doubt that anything I choose to do couldn't have been seen differently, and that I'm supposed to live, not die. How devastating would that be? They would probably keep it from Mum. They wouldn't tell her. I don't know, maybe they would. It would just be ridiculous for that to be happening. Mum's dying and I go before her. It makes no sense. Could I have left Sarah's long before I had to? Yeah. There were times when I did. I went off. I had everything there in the van. I could have just turned right instead of left and started a new life. Had all the stuff I needed. Well, maybe a couple of things I didn't, and I really did need it, and that was the anchor that made sure I didn't just run away that way. That actually I had to stay until Sarah ended it. It had to be Sarah's decision, and that was a hard time. Yeah, but it was necessary. It needed to end, just like this does. Everything needs to end. And the idea of making a journey, okay, sitting on a train for a few hours, going to a seaside town, fresh air, walking on the beach, possibly seeing faces from the past, eating familiar foods. There's nowhere else I would choose to be. If I was moving from here right now, there's nowhere else I would choose to be. I mean, I've thought about, what if I was to go to Portugal and sort of go find that Muji bloke, see what it's like to be out there, see what it is they do, how does it work, do I fit in, can I come there? Portugal, it's a very liberal place. Be interesting to go. I've been opportunity of going to Portugal a few times, but actually, you know, made sense to, in the sense, do it in a van. There were people who were doing it, and I could have tagged along with them, and they knew how to do that. All I'd had to do was follow them and pay for tickets as and when required, fill up with petrol, and I had enough money to do that. And even if it didn't work out, I could have driven back. I was free. I could have had an adventure. So many adventures I could have had, I turned down. Unique possible adventure opportunities that could have resulted in all kinds of experience, I turned down. I just wanted to be left alone. Just wanted to be on my own. just wanted to experience this amazing sense of freedom this way, my way, alone. And I'm glad I did it that way, because I gained so much from that I realized that those people with their great intentions and differentness about them were trying to find something I'd already found. I didn't have to move about to seek it anymore. They were still looking for that thing that was missing. I'd found it, and I just wanted to cultivate it, to work on it, to look at it, to feel it, to let it grow. So I have felt that I can go, I could go, I'm ready to go. It's okay if I go. It's okay if I just go. Me by my own hand is not a thought that comes to me. Don't think one can just do that. But it's okay for me to go. It's okay if something happened and I just went. Which means that it should be okay for me to just go and experience somewhere else. Somewhere familiar, somewhere that I can be, somewhere that there is the possibility of kind and good encounter, or just a sort of fairly expensive but affordable excursion that I reflect on. I'm not ready to be, I'm not a healed person. I'm not myself in the world. I am still in this fluctuating, unstable place. The majority of that is the tincture giving me that place to go to, and especially now alone, because I can't really go to this part of it when I'm here with others, because I need to completely detach from them, and there's no way to assume that will happen. But in this moment, I'm completely alone. I can go to that place I could go further. But it feels so strange, because tomorrow being a nice sunny day, I want to be out in it. I don't want to be doing things inside where I'm actually letting the world go. I'm actually wanting to be in the world. So again, both sides of the experience constantly exist around me. Do I need to experience everything in the altered state? I don't think it matters, really. I certainly wouldn't necessarily do that at first, but yet at the same time I ought to not be concerned. If I'm going to use it, then I'll just be using it. If I'm not going to use it, that's different. If I'm going to go without it, like I did to India, or at least I took a tiny amount with me as a backup in case I changed my mind, but I would not seek to purchase it. And I did not seek to purchase it, but I did briefly get it out to use it before throwing it away and realizing I had to let it go. And then I went through 3 months without it, and actually I had a completely different experience. One I would never have had I made my focus and my experience through cannabis. So to go without it means that I'm not sort of doing this thing as I experienced even when I occasionally take my little vape, and I took a little vape and you can hardly see anything come out, and I'm in the carriage and it doesn't matter. It still matters. I still have to go by the rules and I'm not supposed to and I have to do it. I don't want to be subject to any of that. So tincture, for starters, can be just taken anywhere, and it's never offensive to anybody when you're having a few drops of herbal tincture. But also, there is value in not having anything, to have faith and just accept it. But I so love to just be high while sitting looking through a window on a train. I don't know if it's a kind of pointless experience to realise that actually I would have to not use it at all. It would have to be something I prescribe, that I offer, that I give, but don't actually use. That I should get my sense of myself and what it is I do and not need that kind of an assistance. I don't know. I know that other people would enjoy it, but is it something I should introduce to them? Because they would definitely want it once they've had it. And I would have to supply it in a way that I couldn't kind of easily fulfill. It could get out of hand really quickly. So my feeling is it doesn't exist for anybody else. Unless it's absolutely right in just a one-off moment. It's just something I take when I'm on my own. It's not something I have to take on a regular basis. I don't have to take it a couple of hours later. I only take it once. And it's something I take when I'm on my own. So it's not something that anyone else has to consider. They just deal with me. They don't deal with that idea as well. I don't have to take anything else. I don't have to seek out anything else. I don't want alcohol. I don't need anyone else's cannabis. I only use my own. So I don't take anything else. No, thanks. No, I don't smoke anymore. And that's true. I don't smoke anymore. But it doesn't mean I don't use cannabis my way. It's just I use it my way, and it's got nothing to do with anybody else. Unless I want them to know. Unless I want them to have some. And it's unlikely that I would do that unless the circumstances were right. Instead of it being about me showing them what I can do, look what I've made, look at this. It's just medicine that I use that helps me, and there'll be enough of it to ensure that things will have really changed by the time it's no longer there. I seem to need it, or I seem to prefer it, to choose it as a crutch, that it helps me. I say it helps me. It increases, it decreases, it assists, it balances, it levels, it does all kinds of things for me. And I like experiencing with it. Maybe I am addicted to it because it is strong and I have plenty. And if I'm thinking about taking more, then discovering, as it will, is that I'm kind of knocked out, I'm kind of zonked, I can't really function, but I quite enjoy the experience, then I'm moving into the junkie land, the junkie role. Maybe I've been doing that anyway. Maybe that's what interferes with me wanting to engage in the world, is that I keep taking myself away from it. But it would be a hard decision to decide to make a journey without it. Very hard decision. I don't feel like I would make such a journey without it. And maybe that's why it's not... I'm not... The mistake I made when I went to Penzance is doing what I usually did with Patty when it was, of course, perfectly fine, is just vaping whenever I felt like it. There were several moments when I felt myself vaping, even though what I was doing didn't look in any way, wouldn't have been assumed in any way to be cannabis. I still felt self-conscious at times. And it was used fairly frequently. It's not just take one puff and then that's it for the rest of the day. It used to be. There was a time when it would have been. So I have delved deeper into it. I have had the opportunity to really explore what it was like, first of all, to take something in a way I'd never taken it before like this. Smoking, inhaling is one thing, but when you eat it, when you have something edible, then you have a completely different experience chemically. 11-hydroxy metabolite when it goes through the liver, and learn the value of that experience. It's more, learn the value of it. And I started these recordings talking about that, talking about how I felt about having just made that, how excited I was, all the possibilities that came to my mind about what could happen with this stuff, how I wanted to share it, what I wanted to do with it. Only Mum and Nicola have ever had it. And Mum kind of rejected it. Only Nicola, who grew it, is the only one who uses it, other than me, who made it. Very interesting. It's just for us. Maybe she will share it sometime with one of her friends somewhere, but until she makes more, and if it's me who makes it into tincture, it's not rocket science, but still, I have a lot of experience, so no one else will try unless they know what they're doing. She only has a little. I have a lot. I've kind of kept it hidden from her. I've given her what she's asked for, and I've shared with her whenever she's here, and she can always have a refill. But I haven't given her loads. I have to be very responsible for it because it is valuable and powerful. And it may have to last a while, and there's plenty of it, and it's so packaged in such a small and light way that I can take it effortlessly. No, I couldn't go without it. I would feel too much of the sort of need for just physical comfort, eating, just wanting, just what am I doing with my time? I'm not a sightseer, I'm not a tourist, and yet I don't feel like I could just go round to where my friends live and just turn up. I could, but I've had experiences in the past where I have been made to feel very unwelcome in the chance randomness. And it's, as I said earlier, it's Kay, not the family, that I should be approaching. But if I don't take the tincture, the tincture may free me, may create in me the words I need to say, whatever it is I need to say, to express myself a certain way, to appear a certain way, to be a certain way. When I'm around her, I see the goddess in her. I've always seen the goddess in her. She's something special, that's for sure. It's very special.